And again, some details on the cosmic creation and Krishna's assertion again on his supremacy and actual source of everything, and the workings of the material nature was one part in the Aishwarya Yoga or Aishwarya Jnana. And then Krishna talks about those people who deride him as an ordinary person. Who are the pure devotees and how do we recognize them? And then Krishna's opulence is also a glimpse of Krishna's opulence is also given in 9th chapter. And then who is our actual source, who is our real father and mother and everything. And then Krishna also tells us about those people who approach demigods without having full faith in him. And then he gives the description, he gives the analysis on what are the benefits of worshipping him exclusively. And then he also basically tells about the importance of bhakti and what are the different kinds of things that we can offer to Krishna and what should be the mood of devotees while offering the things. And then whom does Lord Krishna extend his friendship? This is what we have covered last time. And then today we will discuss about a topic on what will happen to the devotees if by mistake they commit abominable activities. So in brief, 9th chapter gives us a lot of important knowledge. As I said, we are almost at the end of the 9th chapter. So I wanted to have as a revision shloka and the meaning of the shloka. I think somebody is not muted. Okay, so Rasarani Mataji, you are there? If you're not there, Vasant Prabhu, can you get the shloka?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesho asti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite te sichapyaham.
Yeah, translation also, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, if you want to elaborate a bit on what you have learned from this.
Yes, Prabhu, so Krishna is equal, Prabhu, he is not partial to anyone, but in the translation, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained in great detail, as Krishna is like a partial to devotees in the name of like a consciousness. So with the consciousness, the devotees can understand the relationship with like a Lord, and what is their original relationship with the Lord, and how they can go back to Godhead, and everything is happening by the will of the Lord. So that has been very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada. So here a Lord is treating everyone same, even he is giving the benefit to the enemies or non envious people also. At the same time, for devotee, he is giving he's little partial in terms of the consciousness, because they can understand it is the will of the Lord, and it is by the mercy of the Lord we are able to get the devotional service. We are able to practice the devotional service. So they will, yeah, Prabhu, yes, they will take also as a mercy from the Lord. They'll be able to take everything in the same way.
Okay, you used a very interesting word. You said that he is little partial. Did you get it from the Prabhupada's purport, or you are using your own word?
No, Prabhu, like it is little partial means in the purport, like it is mentioned as partial because it has been mentioned how then non-envious envious people like can get a chance to do the devotion. So in that manner, Srila Prabhupada explained like Lord is equal, but to devotees he is partial in terms of like the consciousness.
Okay.
And it is a special to the devotees like by Lord.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that little partial, I think if Prabhupada has said partial, let's use partial, because here Krishna is univocally saying whoever renders. So there's no question of little partiality. Whoever renders, to me, is a friend. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu, yeah.
So that's an important aspect when we have to do. So here Krishna is basically at a broad level, he's saying that he is impartial to anyone. However, those who render service to him is a friend. But then if Krishna had stopped here in 929 about this topic and went on to closure of the 934, it would have been slightly easier for us. But Krishna later in 930 tells a shloka which is a very difficult shloka to explain, at least for a beginners like us, beginners in devotional service, devotees who are aspiring to be. Yes, Prabhuji?
Prabhu, one thing, Prabhu, like I think last week we covered only the Yetkaroshi, Prabhu. And this sloga is yet to be taken.
Okay. Now anyway we have covered. So okay, fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Sorry. Okay. So in after he's saying that he's impartial to everybody, but he favors those people whoever does devotion. Had he stopped, it would have been okay. But Krishna here uses a shloka, tells Arjuna a shloka, which is sometimes difficult for people like us to explain. Because okay, I am equal to everybody, that is fine. Though whoever does devotion, I am more friendly with them. That is also fine. That's understandable, because Krishna is a rasa raja. That means he's the king of rasas. So he enjoys the rasas with the devotees. So among the rasa, definitely a rasa who is a devotee, a rasa of any of the 5 or 12 rasas as a devotee, Krishna really enjoys. So obviously there's nothing wrong, right? Even in very simple terms, sometimes when we follow the games, we have our favorite teams, right? In football or in cricket, those teams we always like it. We normally also, when people talk about that, they say I like this team, that team as such, they like it. But within the team, they may also have some people whom they like slightly more because they do certain things. So here Krishna is telling that whoever does devotion, I like. But then he if he had stopped, it would have been nice for at least people like us. But he wants to convey a slightly bigger message, because we must remember that this chapter is about confidential knowledge. So Krishna, through his instructions, is trying to elevate our levels of thinking and levels of our understanding towards him. So he is basically telling Arjuna, this is a very interesting shloka. Apichetu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. So I would request Anuradha Vrajagopi Mataji, if you want to chant the shloka and the translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhav sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Translation. Word to word meaning, Prabhu?
No, translation directly, Mataji.
Translation. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, you want to throw, I mean, is it easily palatable shloka, or does this shloka raise a lot of questions?
It is straightforward, Prabhu. Krishna is very clear, so not twisted or complicated. We can understand that he's so merciful. He wants to, even to most fallen souls also, he doesn't want to leave them, and he is merciful.
Yeah, but does it not look a bit odd? Because he's telling, even though one commits most abominable actions, I will, if he's devotee, I will leave him. Which law, which court of law says that if I'm favorable to government, I can be a corrupt and government can arrest me because I'm very favorable to government. Why should it not say? How can we say that if he's most abominable action also he's trying to what if a non-devotee does abominable action? Does Krishna punish him or not?
Yes, if a non-devotee, it's a different situation. The law of karma applies, and all whatever is applicable, it applies. But when it comes to devotee, I think if the devotee realizes what mistake he has done, and I think in that case, I mean, Krishna will give for consideration.
But the Krishna is talking about I think, or if he is not giving anything, right? He's only giving one if he's engaged in devotional service. So it appears as if this is a bit different than our understanding of karma, because for every action we have to face a reaction. But how can a devotee get away from most abominable action? Krishna were to tell, okay, if it is some small mistake, okay, he is doing most abominable action. So this shloka, it's important that when we read this shloka, we have to self-introspect, because if we just go with saying that, oh, Krishna has told to Arjuna, it has to be right, we can go like that. That's a one level of very good faith, and that's a demonstration of one very good faith. But it could be sometimes misplaced faith, because even if we have faith and we say that, okay, this is very clear and clear to my understanding, we should be able to stand up to anyone if he says that, how come he's telling like this? What kind of a god he is? Just because somebody does a devotional service, he can do anything? Why is he doing like this? So this kind of a questions asked. So why I'm taking this point is, when we encounter these kind of a shlokas, we have to start with the premise that we don't believe it. Because if we say that if you believe it, then that introspection and analysis opportunity that we will lose, even though heart in heart, internally, we must believe it, that there is no doubt about it. If we don't believe it, then we are gone. We have to believe it, but from a mind perspective, from our intellect perspective, we must say that we need to challenge this. How Krishna can say this? Is it not right? Is it right or is it not right? That question has to come within us in a very humble manner. So then only answer to that will reveal to us, because tomorrow in some forum or whenever we are talking or we are taking some other shloka, somebody may corner us on this, and they may put their point there. So it is very important for us to do that self introspection. There's nothing wrong. So with whom can we do the self introspection? With whom can we open our heart about this? For all of us, the preeminent Siksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada. So that's why for these shlokas, for every shloka, we have to read with purport of Srila Prabhupada. And for shlokas like this, we have to read the purport of shlokas much more carefully. So today we will read the purport. I'll call the names so we can read one by one, para by para. And then we'll try to understand the shloka much more. So hopefully, by the grace of God and Guru's mercy, we get a slightly more better understanding about this shloka on what did the acharyas have told. Is it okay? Hare Krishna. Yeah, my wife wants to add something.
Before going to purport, just I want to share my understanding.
Yeah, can you be a bit loud because you're far away?
No, two things I want to use to support this statement. One is in Brahma Samhita, they said, Yasvindra Gopa Matvendra Mahusva Karma, Vandhan Rupa Palabhajana Mahat, Karma Nidhati Kintuja Bhakti Bhaja. So even Indra, everyone, they have to do according to their karmas. But a devotee, because he has taken the devotional thing, Lord is guaranteed that all his actions will be burnt out.
That is correct. I'm questioning that why Lord is giving that benefit.
Because it's this devotee. And we have the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Prithu Maharaj is doing all yajnas, in Indra he will take his ashra. Because if he complete 100 Ashtamedas, he'll become Indrapadri. So, but Prithu Maharaj is none other than a Lord in himself. So he did not punish Indra. He forgives him. In that connection, Srila Prabhupada is telling, devotees of the Lord are very powerful. So sometimes, even whether it is in higher planets or the lower planets, if they commit any abominable action due to their past habits, it cannot be taken into account. It can be overlooked. That's all.
Fine. Thank you, Dr. Anyone wants to contribute something before I go to the purport?
Mataji actually supported my statements, Prabhu, and she gave the quotes for it. But from your point, I understand what you are trying to explain us, that why he is partial to devotees, even though they do abominable actions, if somebody raises this point.
Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to come in before we move to the purport?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I want to add one thing.
Yes, Mataji.
So, what I've understood from the purport also and from this is that though we are doing devotional service, because of the strong power of the material nature, sometimes though we are doing it very strongly because of 3 modes of material nature, there are sometimes chances that we may fall down. But we have Krishna in us and we are doing strong devotional service. That's the reason Krishna is giving us some kind of leniency, okay? But this leniency should not be misused, thinking that every time Krishna will do it, will help me. This is only by mistake, okay? Then only Krishna will help. So this is a warning to the so this is a warning, saying a point to the non-devotees also, that even for devotees, it is only if it is by mistake, then only he is helping. Otherwise, if it is done many times, it is not possible for Krishna to help.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I think you have given us the purport straight away, right?
No, I'm not in the purport, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. But actually, Prabhupada is giving this in the purport. Same thing what you have told, Mataji. So I'll go to the purport. Exactly. Okay. 1 second. Are you able to see this? The screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. 1 second, Mataji. That is getting loaded. Okay. So who will read the purport? 1 second. Chaitanya Prabhu, you are there? Hare Krishna. Okay. Lalita Bhaktimati Mataji, you want to read the first paragraph of the purport?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The word Sudhacharaha used in this verse is very significant and we should understand it properly. When a living entity is conditioned, he has 2 kinds of activities. One is conditional and the other is constitutional. As for protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for the devotees, in connection with the conditional life, and such activities are called conditional. Besides these, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position and they are technically called devotional service. Now, in the conditioned state, sometimes devotional service and the conditional service in relation to the body will parallel to one another. But then again, sometimes these activities become opposed to one another. As far as possible, a devotee is very cautious so that he does not do anything that could disrupt his wholesome condition. He knows that perfection is in his activities depends on the progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, however, it may be seen that a person in Krishna consciousness commits some act which may be taken as most abominable socially or politically, but such a temporary fall down does not disqualify him. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that if a person falls down but is wholeheartedly engaged in transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord, being situated within his heart, purifies him and excuses him from that abomination. The material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes become ensnared. But Krishna consciousness is so strong that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. For as explained, Prabhu, can you please little slide up, Prabhu, for me that mic and camera is hiding this paragraph. Yeah. Excuse us. The material contamination is so strong that even that such an occasional fall down is at once rectified. Therefore, the process of devotional service is always a success. No one should deride a devotee for such accidental fall down from the ideal path, for as explained in the next verse, such occasional fall down will be stopped in due course as soon as the devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mataji, what are the important points that you get it from this?
Yes, Prabhu. Actually, when I read this for me, Prabhu, like two great personalities come to my mind. That is Jada Bharat Maharaj and like Ajamila. Like, they are not, their life is different, but in Ajamila also he was in a Brahmanical family, but once he fall down because of his that lusty desires. But again, Krishna was so merciful that he, at the last moment of his life, he uttered the word of his son, and he was like he went back to Godhead. No, in same like that. And also Jadabharata's lesson also, it teaches the same, Prabhu. Like
okay. And any other important points that you have got in this? How Srila Prabhupada has revealed?
Yeah, when we when we are situated in our constitutional position, maybe when we try to achieve that constitutional position and we focus on that particular vision, Prabhu, like whatever the condition, whenever we are, even though we are conditioned because of the three modes of nature and everything, like sometimes we may fall or because of the situations, but definitely that doesn't take us to the qualification. That doesn't prove us for the qualification to be a devotee.
No,
so I
very thanks, Mataji. Anyone wants to add on this in this paragraph or what Mataji has told? And before that, I'll ask one more question. Here, if in the translation it is said, if one commits most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination, right? So does the second statement apply to us or not? That's the second question. If he's engaged in devotional service, he has to be considered saintly. So does it apply to Vasant Prabhu? Does it apply to Sant Gopeshwar Prabhu? Does it apply to Ishukani Prabhu? So that is one question that I want an answer at the end of this once we read the purport. Anyone wants to add anything from what they have learned from this purport?
Prabhu, here actually what is, we should not be condemning any devotees by chance based upon their activities. So we should be very careful before judging or passing some comments on any devotees, which we feel it is not the way, how I feel that.
Very good. Any other point, Mataji? Someone else was trying to.
So, constitutional conditional activities will override the conditioned activities.
Okay, very good.
Constitutional activities, yeah, that's one statement we can say.
Very good. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is trying to explain the, yes, Mataji or Prabhu, yeah.
Prabhu, here this line, no one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down. Does it mean that even if an accidental fall down happens, we should not be, stopping the connection with the devotee or stop talking to that person, or we should not be including again something like that? Does the meaning come out like that? Instead, we should try to bring the devotee up. No. Does it mean like that, Prabhu?
No. Actually, I wanted to explain this. If we just finish this, I'll explain, Mataji, if you don't mind. I wanted to explain that thing. That's a very important thing that you pointed out. Let's invite Mamta Mataji and Shiv Prabhu to go through the next part of the purport, starting from therefore.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Just a minute, Prabhuji. The second para, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Therefore, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness and is engaged with determination in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, should be considered to be in the transcendental position. Even if by chance or accident he is found to have fallen, the words Sadhureva, he is saintly, are very emphatic. They are a warning to the non-devotees that because of an accidental fall down, a devotee should not be derided. He should still be considered saintly even if he has accidentally fallen down. And the word mantavyaha is still more emphatic. If one does not follow this rule and derides a devotee for his accidental fall down, then one is disobeying the order of the Supreme Lord. The only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. In the Narsimha Purana, the following statement is given. Prabhuji, should I continue?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, should I continue? Am I audible?
You can continue, Mataji. Sorry.
Okay, Prabhuji. Bhagavati cha harav ananya cheta Vrishamalinopi virajate manushyaha nahi shasha kalusha chabihi kadachit timira parabhavatam upeta chandraha. The meaning is that even if one is fully engaged in devotional service of the Lord, is sometimes found engaged in abominable activities. These activities should be considered to be like the spots that resemble the mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not become an impediment to the diffusion of moonlight. Similarly, the accidental fall down of a devotee from the path of saintly character does not make him abominable. Just a minute. On the other hand, one should not misunderstand that a devotee is transcendental. Devotional service can act in all kinds of abominable ways. This verse only refers to an accident due to the strong power of material connections. Devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. As long as one is as long as one is not strong enough to fight the illusory energy, There may be accidental fall downs, but when one is strong enough, he is no longer subjected to such fall downs. As previously explained, no one should take advantage of this verse and commit nonsense and think that he is still a devotee. If he does not improve in his character by devotional service, then it is to be understood that he is not a high devotee. Hare Krishna.
Mataji. So I think
Yes,
this explains the question that came to Bindumada Mataji about this shloka. So
yes, Prabhuji.
even though the shloka looks a bit one-sided, favoring devotees, Srila Prabhupada's purport is telling us that it has to be like an accident, or it could be only sometimes a devotee falls off the thing, and because he is still continuing his devotional service of chanting or regulative principles or whatever, there's a chance that he gets back to it. So this, and other most important thing from a practical application point of view, there are a few things that we need to remember. Before we go to that practical application, let's see once again the content of what we have read. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Sunil Prabhu from
Yes,
Bangalore. Can you read it, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, can I add points over here of what I read?
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. What I see and read from the previous verses also, I mean the previous paragraph also, it says that apichet su durachar. It means that, even if one is committing a sin, Krishna considers that he's a sadhu, because he says that, it's my devotee who has committed this sin, and he's partial to his, not partial, he says he is my devotee and he has committed sin, which is absolutely fine, because he is trying to practice with full determination. He's still trying to practice. So this verse, I think, is for somebody who is like me, who is still trying to practice and trying to be perfect in his determination, where he's trying to correct himself from cleansing himself from all the anartha nivrittis that he's trying to cleanse himself. And during this process, there will be a lot of pulling from the Maya, that three modes are always fighting with each other and they try to pull us out of devotional service. And while doing this, there is a possibility that there is a whole probability that we fall down and we try to come out of it. And I think also Prabhupada here stresses that we should not take it for granted that because it's written that Krishna is saying that I can do abominable action, should not be repeated. And I think Krishna loves his devotees a lot, and hence he gives this partiality over here, which is very evident.
Yeah, because the devotee is almost coming into the Shuddha Tattva. Out of those 6 types of devotees which we learned in the previous chapters, I think this particular devotee from the Artha, Arkhya, Jnani and all that, he's almost at the Suddha Tattva level he's going towards. That's exactly why Lord Krishna would want to help or tries to show his partiality towards this devotee.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhu. More than that, Prabhu, my understanding is more than that, there is one thing that is there: inclination, aspiration. Even though a person who in the path of devotion service, he does mistake by force sometimes, by being the victim of the circumstance, or by being succumbed to the temptations of Maya. If he does it, but still he has an inclination to be a devotee. He has a faith in Krishna's instruction. He wants to move on the path of devotion. So those devotees will be saved. But if you do not have an inclination to reform, if you do not have inclination to move forward in the devotion service, this rule does not apply. The fact that when Krishna says that who are engaged in devotional service means those people have inclination. Whatever the other reasons that you told about Shuddha Sattva and all are technical. More than that is that our intention. our inclination to be still in the devotional service, even if you have committed some abominable activities. That is one thing. And second most important thing in this shloka, that we have to do a practical three things. First is that we know here Krishna is telling that even a devotees can sometimes get into a situation of doing an abominable acts. Prabhupada also is explaining. So we should never think that we are away from it or we will never get it. It is like I thinking in the current day that I will not test corona positive. It is as good as that. Can I think like that, that I will never get corona positive?
No, Prabhuji.
Right? Even though I'm careful, something can hit me somewhere, right? Same way, corona, just like the way if we start thinking that if I will never get corona positive because I have a lot of immunity, I never get cough and cold, that this and all, it's not a good thinking, right? We are seeing people getting positive. So same way, we also see in the devotion service people falling down. So that should give us a very good warning, saying that, oh my God, these people also have this problem. So let me orient my life so that I will not get into this problem and get into an exception situation like this where Krishna has to apply this rule to save me. Let me lead my life so that Krishna doesn't have to apply 9:30 to me. 9:30 should not be applicable to me at all. So in that way, we should try to mold our life, and every time and again, we need to introspect ourselves that whether we are doing anything towards that. Most abominable to normal abominable. That's point number one. Because even devotees may get into the issue of doing such certain activities which are forbidden. We should not caspers any bad things about those devotees. It's better to be silent. But there was a question whether can we associate with those devotees. So that is a subjective thing. There are two things with that. There are whether we can associate with them or not. Sometimes is decided by the administration, a local yatra or at a higher level GBC. Suppose let's not go to the GBC level first, we will take the local yatra. Suppose if I do some abominable activities, Krishna may be saving me, Krishna, because I'm still trying to aspire to be devotion service. Krishna may save me because he himself has told in 9:30. So that nobody can argue on that, right? But Srivalla Prabhu may think that because Jagan has done an abominable activity, which is harmful to the congregation, so he will order saying that Jagan should not come to any program and Jagan should not give any class, and people should not entertain him to take any class. So even though Sumangala Prabhu or Jagat Bandhu Prabhu are very close friends of mine, they should not associate with me, at least from a devotional angle. Personally, sometimes probably yes, but association should come out because it is an administrative order. If there is no administrative order, but this abominable thing is there, we may pray for the devotee, we may help the devotee to come back to the normal track, but we must be guarding ourselves not to associate too much with that person till he rectifies. It is our duty, because we have to not only to protect them, protect other person, we should also protect ourselves. Self-defense is also a mechanism. There is nothing wrong in that. However, just because Jagan Prabhu has done something wrong, and it came to know, because Anuradha Vrajagopi Mataji is our family friend, and she becomes very unhappy about what happened, and she should not be caspersing a lot of bad things about Jagan. This is what we have to learn in this purport from Srila Prabhupada. There's no need to get to that level of thing. However, sometimes it so happens it may hurt us so much that we just cannot stop but talking about it. But that talking has to be guarded. We should be focusing or analyzing on what situation could happen to Jagan which caused him to become like this, than casting aspersions on Jagan. This is a very important thing. Why I'm telling this is, in our yatra also, we have seen such cases of very, very nice devotees getting to wrong things, very like abominable things, sometimes even most abominable things also. So So I had an opportunity to do this service along with Srila Prabhu to deal with certain cases. So it used to be very difficult when we do those cases and file in reports and discuss these things in a confidential manner. But I used to remember this shloka and sometimes the bits and portions of the purports of Srila Prabhupada, and always try to tell myself that, oh my God, today I'm trying to do a service to the organization of investigating this case, but tomorrow I can also be in this other side. So I have to guard myself, but at the same time, I should not be overly influenced by that person. I should not cast aspersion, at least I should not backbite him, but I will be careful of not associating with him closely. So these are the three principles that I have told, and sometimes the abominable activities may not be socialized. So sometimes you may not know that I did something, that's why that I got restricted. So that's the situation. If you know, and then if it has to be confidential, it has to be confidential. So in that way, this shloka, we should have a faith in this shloka. Shloka, as like Anuradha Vrajagopi Mataji has told, I just try to challenge her only for us to self-introspect and know more about this shloka than anything else. I am not saying I don't intend to say that I don't have faith in this, but sometimes when in these complicated shlokas, when they come, it is better to introspect more so that when we speak up, we can speak up. So after reading this purport together, if we have to explain to this shloka, we can, even though Krishna has categorically told this, Srila Prabhupada, out of his own mercy, has explained to us this shloka this way, that it is only by mistake. It cannot be done willfully. It sometimes devotees can do it, even though they do abominable things, still they are still in Krishna conscious. So Krishna gives them that helping hand. So those are the, and we are committed not to talk about anything bad about that person, but we'll analyze what went wrong with him so that we will know and we can guard ourselves in getting that. So that's the reason why I have only challenged her, not with any intention. So please understand that. So sometimes it's good to do these transparent, healthy debates. So I'll request Sunil Prabhu now to read us through whatever we have read, so that we can. I want to tell you a few more incidents, practical lessons we learned from this shloka, and then we can close, because this is a very important shloka. I wanted to spend some time on this. Yes, Sunil Prabhuji. Sunil Prabhu, you're there? Hare Krishna. Okay, Sant Gopeshwar Prabhu, can you pick it up? Sunil Prabhu, I think, is not there.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Theme: even if a devotee is imperfect, Krishna takes him as saintly. Why? 1. Because he is properly situated in his determination. Bhagavata 9.30. Second, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. 9.31. Focus on the purport. Suduracharo, very significant word. Two kinds of activities, conditional and constitutional. Conditional for those for protecting the body or for abiding the rules of the society. Constitutional or transcendental are activities of the living entities being conscious of the spiritual nature, engagement in devotional service.
And what did Srila Prabhupada, how are these conditional and constitutional activities are connected? Or how are they related? Not connected, they're related. How are they related?
When a person is in a Krishna consciousness.
Very good.
So if duties are carried in Krishna consciousness, then everything becomes constitutional for me.
Very good, Hare Krishna. And so Srila Prabhupada also mentioned these conditional and constitutional activities run parallel sometimes. Yeah, that's an important link between them. Yeah, Madhu Gita Prabhu, can you take up this thing? Madhu Prabhu is there? Madhu Prabhu? I don't know, is there a lag today? Okay, otherwise, Pratap Prabhu, can you take it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sudura karo, very significant word. Activities may be parallel or opposed. In conditioned state, sometimes devotional and conditional acts parallel to each other, and sometimes they approach each other. Devotee tries to balance. Devotee try his or her best not to disturb his wholesome condition, knowing that perfection in his activities depend upon progressive realization of Krishna consciousness. Abominable acts doesn't disqualify. Sometimes Krishna conscious person acts abominable socially or politically. Such temporary fall down doesn't disqualify him. Reference of Srimad Bhagavatam. If such a person is wholeheartedly engaged in transcendental service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord in the heart purifies him and excuses him for the act.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, who else want to try, Prabhu? I'm seeing.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm back, Prabhu. There was some audio.
Yes, you can do this, Prabhu. Yeah.
See, Sadhur Eva, emphatic expression of he is saintly. A person situated in Krishna consciousness engages with the determination in chanting Hare Krishna. Should be considered transcendental, not to deride for accidental fall down. Mantavyaha makes it still more emphatic. If we deride someone like this, then we are disobeying the Lord's order. Reference Nasimha Purana analogy. It compares accidental fallen or abominable acts of a devotee to be like mark of a rabbit on the moon. Such spots do not impede diffusion of bright moonlight. In that perspective, only qualification of a devotee is to be unflinchingly and exclusively engaged in devotional service. Caution, caution. Do not take it is allowance to act in all abominable ways, only for accidental fall down. Only refers to accidental due to strong power of material connection. Devotional service and war. Devotional service is declaring war against illusory energy. Warning. Till we are not strong enough, there may be accidental fall downs. Do not take free license. If one does not improve in his character by devotional service, it is to be understood he is not a high devotee.
Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot. Prabhuji, you want to contribute something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I only want to say, Prabhu, like there are 3 stages of devotional service. It starts with Sambandha Jnana, then Abhideya, and then Prayojan. So, for example, we just touched the topic of Corona. So there are hundreds and thousands of people who have left their body. But I remember one incident wherein during the Bhagavatam Subramaniam class, you told about a very close devotee, Prabhu, who had gone to a barber shop. Sorry, Prabhuji, I don't know whether I'm doing it the right thing to take that example, but
correct.
my intention of using that as an example here, Prabhu, is because I do not know about those hundreds and thousands of people. So they might be very good, very bad, or however they are, but I don't have any relationship with them. But when you explained about the devotee, right, there is a sambandha established between me and him. Though I don't recall his name, I have never met him, right, Prabhu? But because there was a relationship, so I do feel something in my heart for him. Now, Krishna, who is known for setting examples, right? So once Krishna is always saying in 14.4 that I am the seed-giving father. So it is full universal declaration from the Krishna side that I'm your father. But when a devotee says Krishna, I'm yours, it means we are taking the first step of sambandha. And once that sambandha is established, and if we are not doing the mistake intentionally, but if something happens accidentally, then it is Krishna who is always there, because that relationship is set. So Krishna will always, like in this shloka of 930 and 931, Krishna is like, if a teacher goes to a class, teacher might give some something to kids, saying, if you complete your homework, I will do this, right? You should do this. And at the end, Krishna tells Sarva Dharman Pariteja. So if Krishna does not say this thing, that all your sin will be full, I mean, like however above level you are, I will forgive everything. And then at the end, Krishna will put that punchline so that we don't even do the mistake also. So thank you, Prabhuji. That's what Prabhu had to say.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, like, I think this is to start with. Anuradha Vrajagopi Mataji said she has a full faith. We should also have a full faith in this. And Bindu Mata Mataji has told that caution, caution, warning. That's we should remember. This is not a free blank check that Krishna is giving, even though it may appear to be that he is giving a blank check. But Krishna is a bhavagrahi. He also knows our intentions. In our Hyderabad, we use a word called niyat. He knows our intentions. If our intentions and aspirations are sincere, then definitely this rule will apply. If our intentions are not, if we do a willful thing, definitely we will not. First thing is, we will not be qualified as devotees or even aspiring devotees. So the normal laws of nature will apply. And then again, we should not make use of this to gain some advantage. We should know that the Krishna, who has given this rule, also has given a very strong law of nature. So after this, I just wanted to tell you a few things which are connected with International Society of Krishna Consciousness in this regard. First and foremost thing is, in ISKCON, when somebody has been investigated and some complaint comes about somebody, and then and it is proven that somebody does a mistake. So in ISKCON terminology, they don't use the word punishment. Why? Because we all believe this shloka of Sri Krishna, right? We are all aspiring devotees. We want to be in Krishna conscious. That's why we have come here under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Even though we do some mistakes and our mistakes are proven, then I will not, suppose if I do that mistake, they will tell me to do something, or they'll put me into some reformatory thing, but they don't call it as a punishment. They use a word called restriction. Jagan has been restricted to give class. Jagan has been restricted to go to this temple. Jagan is restricted to contact any Bhakti Viksha member to collect donation or whatever. That word restriction is used instead of punishment, because when they convict me, that when they prove me that I've already done a mistake, still they have a hope. If I'm sincere, Krishna will pull me back, or a guru will pull me back. Why they have that? Because we all believe in this shloka very strongly. That is point number one. Sometimes in the congregations also, when you see, when you may come across a situation, you know that some person is doing something wrong, and some people, not only you, some more people also know about it, and you also know that Yatra leader also knows about it, but Yatra leader has not taken any action on this. So at that time, we should not doubt the integrity of our Yatra leader, or if it happens to be our mentor. We should be patient and trying to understand why that Yatra leader is not socializing that thing. Why? Because if you understand it, Yatra leader also believes in this shloka and is also giving time for this devotee to correct himself based on some warning, instead of telling everybody that he has done this, because he knows that this devotee is also kind of a sincere. He appears to be sincere. He has demonstrated his sincerity several times before, and he has got a chance to get back to the Krishna consciousness. That is the reason why sometimes in ISKCON, when people make mistakes, externally when people see, they think that ISKCON is very liberal. in dealing with people who do wrong things. That's why many wrong things happen, because we don't nip at the bud and we don't strictly punish people. Why ISKCON doesn't punish people very strongly unless there's a huge big mistake, is that they know that given a chance, because Krishna himself is telling in this shloka that he will protect these people and get them back if their intention is sincere. Instead, if we straight away punish Krishna without believing this shloka, suppose if I make a mistake and immediately they take an action that, very strong action about me, what will happen to me? That I may completely lose the path of devotion and I may go back to the material ways of life. That means ISKCON has lost a member, and one member who had a chance of going back to Godhead or going progress in the devotional service, just because of some mistake, ISKCON has taken away the opportunity of him of that of progress. So that's why they are very careful. In this regard, I want to tell why we need to dwell on this shloka. There are two things that I would like to tell. One thing is a very important thing. We have an ISKCON, a branch of ISKCON, an offshoot. It's called a Ritvik-vada. It's very predominant in Bangalore. That group of ISKCON people believe that the parampara system, disciplic section, only ends with Prabhupada, and only after all gurus after Prabhupada can only give initiation only on behalf of Prabhupada, because everybody will take initiation only from Prabhupada, even though Prabhupada is not present now. That's a kind of a wrong theory that came into thing, and it is there, and it's a debatable point. And the normal standard ISKCON believes that disciplic section has to come even after Prabhupada, because Prabhupada himself wanted his disciples to become gurus to give initiation. So these two are the Ritvik and non-Ritvik. There's a debate going on since the last 25 years. Sometimes they win, sometimes these people win. It's a thing that's a different matter. But one of the dominant people who started this Ritvik is the temple president of Bangalore. In 1996, during the centennial year, during his Vyasa Puja offering, he has declared that himself to be Ritvik-vad, and he's kind of disowned his guru in a way. And then he started it, and there was so much of legal battle and things like that. So then a lot of things happened, and a lot of backbiting, and the Ritvik people did on ISKCON to defame it, to deface it in many ways. So the battle went on and on. So that person became extremely popular, and the temple was very successful and became very popular, and he started doing a lot of abuses. So one day some person, and he's basically kind of rejected the guru, because he was not obeying his Guru Maharaj's instruction, because he went on his own. So a lot of people of his disciples of his spiritual master, who are also very senior, were very concerned that why the spiritual master is not openly coming out and thrashing him out for all he has done it. So they even went to the extent of telling the spiritual master, see Gurudev, this person has completely rejected you. Still, why you are trying to be reconciliatory towards him? So that spiritual master told his disciples who came to tell about this, he has rejected me, I know it, but I have not rejected him. My gate is open to him. The day he thinks that he knows his mistake, he will come back to me, and then he can progress as he is supposed to progress. If I shut the gate now, then he cannot come back, and that is more painful to me than listening to his abuses about me, because I am committed to my guru that I will take back all my disciples back to Godhead. So how an Acharya, I don't want to name this, because if I name the Acharya, some people may think I'm promoting somebody. But how did this Acharya get this kind of an understanding or a realization, extreme realization, right? Somebody is blaming you, blaspheming you, but still you say that no problem, let him reject me, but I am willing to take him when he's willing to come. Why? Because at one side you can clearly see the level of understanding of this shloka in that Acharya, that belief in this shloka about this in that Acharya. So these acharyas are living examples for us to teach us the importance of these kind of shlokas. So even though we may not be such compassionate and such merciful, such realized souls, at least some one or two feathers from there, one or two important points that we can do, and try to act in a very balanced manner in dealing with these situations. So we need to not be critical about the person, but we need to critically analyze what that person is doing. It's very, very important for us. If you are lucky, if you have not got any situation to see a person around you or a person known to you has not done any abominable things. So it's a thing, and I can also personally vouch for it. Srila Prabhu is a very, very good example of this in our yatra. He has seen so many people's atrocities, as he has seen people criticizing him, yet he always takes a very liberal position. Sometimes people to whom he confides about these issues, we go tell him that no, even we send him a mail saying that you have to be strong, you have to take a strong decision about this person. Still he gives them a chance, and always tell that if I do it, the door is closed to him. If I say one single word, if I write one single email, one single letter to ISKCON, he's finished. I would not do it. I would try to tolerate it. So why these people come to this level of thing? It's not to get any name or fame, because they strongly believe that even though some people do an abominable thing, they have a chance to come back. So that's why we need to learn from these people, and we need to also be careful that we should not get into a situation where Krishna has to use this statement to pull us back. We should not be critical, too much critical. We may be critical, so we are all human beings, but that criticality we should stay within us. At the most, probably, if we cannot contain that anger or an issue, probably our wife or brother or a sister who are very close to it, but it should not go beyond the house or a close circle of friends. And then we should not be critical, and we should not be too much probing into the thing when we know that somebody is dealing with those things. Sometimes it may also happen, even for some of the current gurus also, they also get into some issues because they are always in the preaching mode and traveling mode. So when you're doing a lot of things, there's a chance that you always tend to do a mistake, right? We're all human beings. So when those gurus are also do a mistake, and their thing also is analyzed, and they also are placed into certain restrictions. That's why sometimes you see some gurus do not come to Damodar Desh for some years, or sometimes they don't give initiation. So we should not be probing too much on why this guru is not giving initiation. So if something odd that you feel that why this guru is not giving, so probing and trying to create gossip, we need to ask the authorities, saying that what is this? May I know why this is happening? Why other gurus are giving? There could be, then we'll come to know that guru has been placed in a restriction mode for some number of years to not give initiation. So, but instead of doing that, we generally try to probe and then get some here and there, and then get confused and confuse others will be dangerous thing. So we should be very, very careful about it. Abominable activities, minor or major, we all commit now and then. So we should be very, very careful on this. I hope I'm not talking too much, but this is a very important shloka. So I kindly request again, when I'm saying this, I'm also requesting myself. I'm also ordering myself, whenever we find this kind of a slightly tough shlokas, read Prabhupada books. I try to discuss with people frankly, openly. There's nothing wrong in a Bhakti Vriksha congregation like this saying that I don't believe this. I have to get some more information to believe it. There's nothing wrong, because if we get our doubts clarified than just saying that I believe it, then it'd be better to get doubt clarified, because somebody else is going to ask this question to us. So this is my humble request. Thanks a lot for your participation. Please pray for me, because it's very, very coincidental and interesting journey that I'm going through. I'm actually dealing with a case like this, which is happening in my real life about one of our devotees. So I'm a bit disturbed in dealing with that, but thanks today, last 3-4 days, I'm quite disturbed. You know how I should handle it, what would be the outcome of that. It's been like churning in my mind. But today afternoon, when I was preparing for this class, believe it or not, it cooled my mind to a large extent. It cooled my mind that whatever is going to happen, let it happen. But this is a shloka that I have to believe, that Krishna is telling that even if devotees do mistake, that he is there to help them. Even though I may reject him mentally, I may disassociate with him post the revelation of his mistake to the organization, which I'm sure one day or other is going to happen. I will not criticize him openly, for sure. And I cannot guarantee that I'll internally with my wife, I would not criticize him. I'll definitely criticize him because I'm a normal human being. I must confess that. But I will not socialize his issue. But I will pray that Krishna remembers the shloka when he's dealing with him, because he needs this kind of a reformation. He is also going through a certain situation probably which is forcing him to do such activity. So kindly pray for me to handle the situation properly, in a proper attitude, in a proper judicious manner, that I will not harm anybody and harm myself. So in this way, the shloka is very, very important. So I invite Revati Gopi Mataji to chant the shloka once and give the translation to us.
Okay. Apiche suduracharo bhajate mamananyabhak sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hisaha. Translation. If one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in this determination.
Hare Krishna. And so the last one thing this I'll tell, caution, we should not take this as an allowance, warning. Till we are not strong enough, there may be accidental fall downs. Accidental, intentional, unintentional fall downs, we keep on seeing it now and then, almost every year, something or other we keep seeing. So we should not think that we are immune to that. If you think that we are immune to that, then we are living in fool's paradise. We have to be very, very cautious about this and constantly pray. That's the reason why Prahlad Maharaj also, in his prayers in 5th canto, 18th chapter, 8th shloka comes, Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namastejas Tejase Aviravir Bhava Vajra Nakha Vajra Dramstra Karma Shaya Randhaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Atmani Bhujishtham Om Stram. So Prahlad Maharaj is also telling, I am very fearful. When will this material desires, karma shaya, randhaya, tamo, ignorance and material desires, when will they overtake me, overwhelm me? I am becoming very fearful. That's why, oh Narasimha, please make me fearless. What does it mean? Make me fearless mean get me out of this. Otherwise, I'm very afraid that these things will overtake me. So that way, we should be very careful. And we should also thank Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, who has revealed this shloka to us in a very nice manner, so that we'll get the necessary faith and understanding in not only applying the shloka practically to ourselves, also be able to explain to others if they challenge us on why Krishna is telling this, why he seemingly appeared to be partial to devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thanks a lot for your patient hearing. Sorry if I've taken the time a bit more than normal, but I thought it was an important thing. Okay, there are a few questions. Before the restriction is applicable, is devotee allowed to repent or correct himself? Very much. Couple of chances are normally given to correct himself, and if he repeats, then the restrictions get applied. But it again depends upon the nature of issue. If the nature of issue is very too much, then the restrictions become very immediate. And then my Wi-Fi is not good. If possible, to send an audio by Nepal number. Yeah, sure. Jao, Chaitanya Prabhu is calling. Sure, fine. Hare Krishna Prabhu, I mentioned that this is for devotees like me who are still trying to practice, but this shloka refers to pure devotee who are properly situated with determination. Thank you for correcting, Hare Krishna. Srimati Madhavi Mataji wanted some question. We can have that quick question and then we can close the session. Mataji, you are there? Srimati Madhavi Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
It was that I was to ask that that the people will not be taking that sloka for granted to commit the mistake. But when we read the purpose, it is very clear. Prabhupada has given a strong statement at the last of the purpose. So it's clear.
Sometimes people may ask a question that why Krishna himself did not give a full clarity on that. The answer we should know is that Bhagavad Gita is a very concise form of philosophical discussion. It's only 700 shlokas. So for every shloka, there was no time for Krishna to give a lot of explanation. That's why we should refer to the scriptures like Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam to get a clarity on what Krishna is actually intended to tell. Okay? Here it's only the words of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is about the activities of devotees, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is the mind of Krishna. So that is one point that we need to be clear. And also Krishna also gives opportunity for his empowered devotees, the spiritual masters, in order to glorify them. He lets them reveal this knowledge to us. That's the reason why we don't find everything, every detailed explanation in the direct instructions to Arjuna. That is one thing. And other thing is Arjuna is much more learned than us. So sometimes Krishna brushes through these important concepts a bit quickly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Anything else? Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot for all of you for joining. And let's come. If you are okay, we'll just switch on. You can switch on your videos and we can say Hare Krishna to each other and then conclude this class, which dealt with a very important topic.
Hare